Hello, I'm Father Samba. I bring you the news and the tunes. Today I'm going to keep the news segment short. If you're in Michigan, still please get vaccinated. The mask mandate may have been lifted somewhat, but we're not out of the woods quite yet. Just because our government has lifted mandates doesn't mean our stores will immediately change the rules. They can still reserve the right to mandate mask wearing. Additionally, workers still have to wear a mask under OSHA's guidelines, which they have not changed currently. A lot of people aren't wearing masks properly anyway. They go in knowing someone will yell at them. So they're there in a store arguing with an employee about masks. Is it time we call people out for public mask debating? Yeah, you gotta think about it. Good. A small town in rural Georgia decided, in an attempt to end school shootings, they had to choose between owning guns and having schools. The town now has 3 shooting ranges. I should clarify the last story hasn't happened. Yet, at least. In real news, Chick-fil-A has announced they are running low on sauce. They're going to have a limit of how many you can get for every order. And of course, it only took 1 minute for everyone to look at this tragedy and say, "Thanks, Obama." Yeah, am I the only one who thought that joke just got put into the ground? It's kind of like how people always say well, what if I just identify as? That joke may have been funny back in maybe 2015 or something, but now it's 2021, you need to learn something new. It's not even because it's offensive, it's an old joke. I've heard it about 1,000,000 times online. How about you learn something new? Remember, I don't think that one entire political side should be summed up by Twitter. The same way you wouldn't want the other side being summed up with the things that happened in Parler. Oh yeah, I think, isn't Parler still on? I think Parler got put back on the App Store and stuff. Hold on. I'm going to look that up really quickly because, well, it looks like it's on the App Store again. Yeah, I would not recommend you going on that app because I think they ask for a social security number and your address and stuff. Just make sure that you're the right person. That's still sketchy. That is unbelievably sketchy. I would rather have a social media app where you don't know all this stuff. It's just, at best, you can say social media is just used for data mining, so they figure out the things they will want to advertise to you. At worst, you have people committing crimes and then bragging about it. That's how you get put on FBI watch list. That's how you're not allowed to fly on a plane anymore. Just stay away from any crazy websites, crazy apps, because you know what? Things can get a little nasty. But back to the Chick-fil-A thing. Yeah, there's a bunch of shortages going on, and people are just freaking out about Chick-fil-A and their sauce. As you probably know, we've got a few franchises around here. We've been at war with the South for so long, but I guess we lost now that their chicken broke through state lines. I'm not acting alone if I say they're overrated. You've got one side people who treat it like the chicken is deep-fried baby Jesus. Then you've got another side that hates the company for where they donate money. But here I am to give you the alternative opinion of, nah. First thing you know is it costs too damn much. I know they pay their workers a couple extra bucks an hour, but I still don't think the chicken and fries should cost that much. Yeah, with that money, I can make my own sandwich and hate whoever I want. Or, maybe none because I'm better than that. That was a snide remark. I apologize. Wait, I'm apologizing to Chick-fil-A? Never mind. Next is the workers. They're too nice for fast food. Their smile is faker than Bigfoot's tits. If I go to Taco Bell, I get real people who don't try to hide the cloud that follows them around. Now that's the fast food experience. You get cheap food prepared by people who are paid cheap wages. You're supposed to get verbally abused for cheap food in the Mountain Dew. I wouldn't have it any other way in the US of A, thank you. But yeah, it happened. It finally happened. I got another weird dream. One that's just, it might be on par with a Fat Albert dream. I'll let you decide. I was going to write a script for this, but I decided, it's fresh in my head. I'm going to tell it just the way I tell things. Okay, in the dream I was in, I think, the KFC drive-thru. You know how KFC are. The line is way too long, they close early. But, you get chicken. Yeah, I don't even remember what I order, but as soon as I got to the window where they give me my food, I get a McDonald's ice cream cone. There are 2 things that are wrong with that. First of all, KFC doesn't serve McDonald's ice cream. Second of all, the McDonald's ice cream machine worked. Yeah, so apparently McDonald's ice cream machines do not work at McDonald's. They only work at KFC. This is dream logic. I don't question things until I wake up. Okay, after that, they hand me the ice cream. It tastes good because, it's ice cream. It's supposed to taste good. But then the guy in the drive-thru says, "Oh yeah, you get a free haircut with your order." I don't know about you. I don't know how many restaurants offer hair and food. I've heard of Joe's Barbecue and Foot Massage, but that's different. It's not a drive-thru. It's a sit-down place. So you know what? I say yes. Sure, if I paid for it, it comes in the meal. Go right ahead. He takes out a razor. And you know what? He tries giving me a haircut through the window. I take my head out the car window, and I just let him shear me like a sheep. Then here he is. He only shaves one side of my head. He didn't even ask what style it was. It was just one style. Oh, well, you get what you pay for. Yeah, so he does one side. He says, "That's it." Tells me to drive off. And I look in the mirror and go, what the hell? It doesn't look good. It looks terrible. I mean, I doubt he went to cosmetology school, but that's unacceptable. He only cut one side of my hair. If I order a meal and I want my hair cut, I want my whole head cut. I don't care if they're only being paid that much. If I want a job, I'll pay them well. And I tip the hairdressers. You have to do it. But he did a terrible job for a drive-thru hairstylist. So you know what I did? I ate my food and I called in complaint. I remember the dude's name. Well, I don't remember it now, but in the dream I did. So here I was saying, yeah, I'd like to call a complaint. You see, the guy at the window, his name was blah, 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 blah. And I say, yeah, he only did one side of my head when he gave me my haircut out the window. I don't think he was able to fix it. At that point, you might as well just shave off your entire head. But you know what? That was the dream of the night. And I told people about this, and they act like I'm the crazy one. They say, "What the hell is wrong with you?" I don't know. Do you think I come up with this on the spot? Do you think I just write my dreams for me? No, it just happens naturally. It happens naturally. So you know what? Usually I resist weird, crazy crap happening, but if it's a dream, oh well, I'll just deal with it. Also, the guy at the window, he was nice leading up to that point. He said it came with the order. It's a matter of principle. If you pay for the haircut, you get the haircut. That might end up becoming a clip on the YouTube channel. I don't know how I'm going to animate that. Oh well, that'll be a job for me in the future. Wednesday night going to Thursday morning. That's how they treat me. Days of the week. Oh, week. It's hard to believe Sundays used to be called the day of rest. God created the world in 6 days and spent the last day to rest, and that's why we do it. What's this got to do with us, though? Because God rested on this day, we have to give him an hour every week to him. If he can run the world all the other hours of the week, why does he need my one? Worst of all, old people give up maybe 2 a week. 1 hour for church and the other for driving. One good thing about Corona was that the roads were never better to drive on. It was perfect. Old grandma was staying at home, and you can live the dream of going 60 in a residential. Isn't it funny how much slow drivers just piss everyone else off? And I don't mean people going 10 below. I hate them too. I'm talking about those people who think it is a right to only go the speed limit and not a bit above. Come on, man. The speed limit is 45. Do us all a favor and go 50. Just because your IQ is 35 doesn't mean it has to be an appropriate speed. I mean, you don't want to get pulled over. But, I've learned about how much you can get away with while you're driving. You can go fast, but, not fast enough to get caught. It really depends. But you usually get away with driving is a little less than 10 above. And I say it depends. If you ever drive on the highway at night, the speed limit runs around 80. If you're going 79, prepare to get run off the friggin' road. People are late for their truck stop booty calls, and so they'll drive damn near 100 to get there on time. And if you think slow drivers are bad, there's another type of driver that's even worse. See, you never experience high school unless you've had to take a ride on one of their buses. Doesn't matter where you went to school, because none of the bus drivers should have their licenses. First of all, they never show up on time. One time for a school event, the bus driver was an hour late. The school didn't want you to know that the driver slept in, But it couldn't have been any more obvious. It was 9 in the morning. We had to wait till 10 o'clock. Once they even bother to show up, don't even think you're safe. There are curbs that aren't getting run over, and that has to be fixed. We had a bus driver back in the day named Pearl. Miss Pearl, to be specific. If you didn't call her Miss at the beginning, she would yell at you. Even if you did, she'd get mad if she didn't hear it. Yeah, she once threatened to go to the back of the bus to make sure someone called her a Miss before. Yeah, okay, fine, you're a Miss. About to miss the next exit. Every week she would come back with her hair done. And every week it got worse. I mean, who did her hair? Wendy's? I don't mean the person Wendy. I mean at the drive-thru. I hope she was friends with her stylist, because there's no way I would be coming back if I weren't. And yeah, when she pulled up with a bowl haircut, I knew all hope was lost. The war was over. The good guys lost. The only thing worse than her hair was the damn attitude she had. She expected her bus to be clean, and she was never afraid to yell at us over it. I'm not going to do the voice, just imagine I am. You better pick up your trash when you're done, or I'm telling the band teacher lady, and you're getting in trouble. And so you're telling me the person who wanted us to show her some respect referred to our band director as the band teacher lady. Don't worry, it gets worse. It gets much worse. 2 people in band were dating that school year, a senior and a sophomore. And every week, the senior would sneak onto her bus and snuggle with his girl on the ride. Miss Pearl caught him with a charade, and she was not having it. On the loudspeaker, she went, "Nuh-uh, boys and girls cannot sit together on my bus. You two better separate." Those 2 must have been embarrassed. But that's the saying that stuck. Boys and girls cannot sit together. Years past, we'd still say it. Even if she wasn't our driver, we would still say it. As band kids, we would remind each other who could and couldn't sit together on the bus. I mean, we still sat together, but we had to say it at least once, otherwise we'd be breaking our sacred tradition. And I think there are more kids going on online school. They're missing out a very important part of high school, and of course that has to be the irritable bus driver. You can't simulate that. Every bump needs to be felt, and every curb has to be hit. So of course I need to ask, what about the children? One thing we always hear is, that damn generation and their phones. I always wonder which generation they're talking about. It could be the baby boomers who can somehow never turn their phone on silent. Or is it the Gen X moms who only text one finger at a time? Let me guess, it's the young people who became your personal tech support. Once you forgot how to post your dog pic to Facebook, all of a sudden, you go to them. Here's the deal. If you complain about us using our phones, then we won't help you when you can't use yours. It's the least we can do, since it's impossible for us to buy a house until we're 40. Texting has become a new form of writing. No, it doesn't mean we're becoming more illiterate because of it. What we type isn't how we speak. Despite what bad writers in Hollywood want you to believe, no one talks in hashtags. Hashtag busted. Let me let you in on a secret. People started using those hashtags at the end of posts with the hopes that it would show up in more people's feeds. It's not that we are actually saying hashtag when we speak. It's just a little technology thing that makes it easier for when we inevitably get canceled. Oh yeah, cancel culture. Here's another part of internet culture that's so scary it would make George Orwell crap the bed. Basically, you're the sliced but famous, a group of people with way too much free time who scroll through everything you post. Every meme, recipe, emoji. Every reaction gif in the comment section. They dig up all this crap just to find the gold, the creme de la creme. A raunchy joke drizzled with offensive sauce. Next thing you know, some kids leak your address and now you're out of a job. Imagine, if you would, your stupid children make a little post online using a certain word. Not a word you use, not a word you taught them, but a word they heard online. They post it publicly for the whole world to see. A year later, some washed-up Disney star comes scouring Twitter and finds your kid's tweet. Instead of acting reasonable and flagging it, she links the kid's school, your address, where you work, where your spouse works, and now you have to find a new job in a new school district because everything you worked for has been taken away. All because of something you didn't do. They did something similar in communist countries. Family members you might hate criticize the glorious leader. Now you have to go to Twitter jail. How could it be those who seek to end oppression go forward in making it a living hell for those around them? I'll let you know, but it involves a short lesson in French history. In the 1700s, these people called the French didn't like how they were so goddamn poor. The king built himself a nice palace out of town and sent money and resources to defend a revolutionary overseas. You might not even know what country it was, but it was known as the United States. These states got their independence, but the French were still angry that they were hungry and their king was some fat, lazy slob. So they rebelled. They wrote a constitution in a tennis court and they overthrew the king. When they overthrew the king, they didn't just kill the king like normal people would. They cut off his head in this thing called a guillotine. Because they didn't like getting their hands dirty, this machine just did the chopping for them. This dude named Robespierre then decided the same should be done with the nobles. A couple hundred choppings later, and then you start running out of heads to chop. Yeah, executions are like Pringles. Once you pop, you can't stop. So when they need more people to kill, this Robespierre guy got his head chopped off in the mayhem. See what I mean by cancel culture? I'm not at all saying they're going to cut your head off for telling a joke, but they're going to take away something else from you. Your livelihood. You can't murder a person in this country, unless you're a cop or whatever, but you can chip away at them until they slowly die on the inside. Skipping a meal may not kill you, but skipping too many might. Companies won't want to hire you if you're the bad guy online, so you either have to switch your career or go broken crazy like a usual Frankie Teardrop. But this dangerous cycle is getting out of hand. This holier-than-thou way of thinking only pushes more people to the edge when you keep raising the bar what counts as a decent human being. If you don't need to be religious to be moral, you don't have to be a social lunatic to be a good person. I mean, take it from me, if you want to end hatred, your safest bet is to be nice to those around you. We're all adults here, so we shouldn't act like groups of people are helpless children. They're human beings, and they should be allowed to keep their dignity. Okay, I need to clarify. If you're going online and you're actually inciting violence or you're committing crimes or whatever, in that case, yeah, go to jail. But that's a different story. For example, I'm not sure if you know about this, there's a YouTuber, EDP445. He got busted talking to a 13-year-old online and then went to meet her. And then some YouTubers caught him in the act. They basically tried to do a Chris Hansen, only they don't have the charisma of Chris Hansen. So, yeah. People should not really be a fan of... If it's a crime like this, yeah, it's understandable. I completely understand getting rid of this guy because he did this on social media. He used his accounts to message people who he thought were underage and were going to give something to him. And that's the case, he is using his platform for evil and crimes. That's different from a joke from 2010. That wasn't on the script, but I had to clarify things. But, back to the problem at hand. Every generation has this group of heroes. They are strong in might, and more importantly, they fight off a great evil that they hope they can prevail. We have the abolitionists, the suffragettes, the civil rights leaders, and people wonder who the good guys are. Who are the heroes? Who can possibly fill this hole today? None other than white teenage girls. Often the butt of sitcom jokes, white teenage girls are truly the fighters of our generation. They put their pronouns in their bio to show who they are and what they stand for. The petitions go signed. The virtues signaled. Nobody is working harder for the greater good than they are. If you couldn't tell, I was being sarcastic. First thing they do is they act like they are the advocates for the oppressed. Certain individuals can dislike something without everyone hating it. For instance, some jokes can be seen as edgy. But because a woke white girl spoke up, she is now speaking on behalf of the oppressed group, giving them her own voice. If you want to lift up a certain group, why don't you just let them speak rather than just make yourself look good? Telling people not to laugh or enjoy things sounds a bit like oppression, doesn't it? You're sort of taking away their right to express themselves as an individual. The next is the way they speak. They tell you should never wear clothes of a certain group because it's a cultural appropriation. Okay, I understand that. Halloween costumes, I will plan accordingly. But then a lot of them use slang that they hear on Twitter. Not, the country music or white claw part of Twitter. They use a lot of slang that comes from rap music or influencers like Cardi B. You cannot complain about white people stealing cultures if you're constantly saying, "Yas, queen. Trisha's not a queen. Trisha farted." I don't know about you, but I don't think that's right. How can you change the world if you can't even order out of a drive-thru? Jeez Louise. Another thing they do is they hate capitalism. I'm not calling it perfect, but it's being a commie. They say, there's no ethical consumption under capitalism. No ethical consumption, you say. Looks like it's time for you to make a difference. You like your phone, don't you? It was made in a sweatshop in China. Throw it out. While you're at it, burn out all those clothes you wear. Maybe be safe, just give up modern society and live in the trees because it is the bee's knees to be pleased by the bees in the trees. Wow, one take. I'm getting better at this. Companies will use activism as a way to get stupid people's money. Remember when Starbucks wanted to stop using straws? It excited girls more than a One Direction reunion tour. While the turtles were saved, the cup is still being made of plastic. But it's good to know that they have a small victory while the planet is literally burning. Even worse is when someone praises communism. You know, it's good, half your history knowledge is coming from TikTok, but have you ever seen communism work? Soviet Union, 20 million deaths. China, 40 million deaths. Pol Pot killed a quarter of the people in Cambodia. That's a quarter, count 'em, quarter. The list goes on. I understand wanting a strong social safety net to keep people from being poor. But this doesn't have to be done through communism. Just regulate businesses, cut tax loopholes, and slowly enact a universal health care plan. You could save millions rather than killing them. My last episode had a very touching segment of Here's the Thing. I want that to be my recurring segment. Kind of like how Seth Meyers has Closer Look and Bill Maher has New Rule. Oh yeah, Bill Maher, he tested positive for COVID. I haven't heard anything about him being super sick. But, there's still a possibility of you getting COVID after getting your vaccine. Just, you won't have as many side effects probably. The deaths from the COVID vaccine are super rare. You're more likely to die from COVID than the actual vaccine. But back on the main point. I don't want to be known as the serious guy. I'm not the best at comforting or advising people. Maybe we should just return to laughing. While we hear people talk about their rights, it's hard to spell out which ones you have online. Because of where you are or what you believe, it's hard to figure out what is actually allowed. Is free speech allowed or is it not? Here's the thing. I put together a Bill of Rights for the internet, and if God and the Founding Fathers can work in tens, I'll make it twice as easy and do half as many. 5. First, you have protection from joke stealers. Remember when you tell a joke in class and someone would repeat it and take all the credit? Imagine this will replace the class with the world, because that's what it is online. Did someone steal a mini meme that you were up all night making? Take action, Miss Jackson. Demand some credit or call them out for it. But be polite. But you wouldn't steal a handbag, you wouldn't steal a car, so why would you steal my joke? Not anymore. Second, you have a responsibility to not believe every little thing you read online. With how many people are online, it's easy to understand how the stupidest things can spread like wildfire. Some people say you can identify as animals. The government is run by reptiles. To make it clear, none of those statements are true. None of them. None of that crap with being a deer and opening up pizza gates. Use Google for once in your life and search up the real facts. And with that said, Google should not mess up the algorithm to push an agenda. The only thing you should push is the objective truth. And here's the hot ticket issue. Canceling people. New rule, if it's not something you can go to court for, it's not worth canceling them. I mentioned that earlier. You're getting worked up over a joke. Grow some skin. You're not getting killed because of this. Hostile work environment, open discrimination, you might have a case. But there's got to be proof that they actually did what they're being canceled over. Also, we should have a limit of how long someone is in Twitter jail. Call me a radical, but I don't think someone should go starving because of something they said back in 2010. If it's inciting violence or harassment, then it's a concern. But not every dispatch should send you to DEFCON 1. I'm going to get a lot of hate from this one. You're allowed 3 political posts in a day. This is coming from someone who doesn't care if you think your cat should be the next president of the United States. I'm not all trying to censor your opinion. But I think I should get to scroll on Facebook without you reposting 20 jokes about the other side being stupid. With those 3 posts, make sure they're worth it. And if you're a politician and it's your job, then make sure you don't piss people off by shooting your mouth like an idiot gun. And here's the last one. I have a right not to post something if I don't want to. It doesn't make me evil. I'm just tired of my feed being filled with petty propaganda. Besides, what good is posting a square really going to do in the long run? It doesn't feed families, it doesn't take them out of poverty, and it's certainly not putting an end to any violence. You can post your support, but don't crucify others for thinking that you're only doing this to make yourself look good in front of your friends. I hope this clears things up. The internet is an amazing place, but it can be a cursed one as well. If you go on the dark web, you'd probably find yourself on sale for half off with same-day shipping. I'd like to make a place for the moderate and rational person. Besides, who can get along when we're run by conspiracy theorists and check marks? We're an internet of the people, by the people, and for the people. And what is the internet for? Pictures of dogs. Duh. Thank you for listening. I will hopefully post more stuff as I get to it. Thank you.